വെൽക്കം ടു മുല്ലപ്പൂ ടോക്സ്. ഇന്ന് നമ്മളോട് കൂടെ ഉള്ളത് വളരെ പ്രധാനപ്പെട്ട ഒരു അതിഥിയാണ്. നമ്മുടെ നാടുമായി ഭേദ്യമായ ബന്ധമുള്ള എന്നാൽ മുഴുവൻ സമയവും നോർത്ത് ഇന്ത്യയിൽ ചെലവഴിക്കുന്ന കമ്മ്യൂണിസ്റ്റ് പാർട്ടിയുടെ വീര യോദ്ധാക്കളിൽ ഒരാളായ സുഭാഷിണി അലി മേഡമാണ് നമ്മളോടുള്ളത്. സുഭാഷിണി, വെൽക്കം. And I will be asking you a question in English, but bit with Malayalam. When you reach Kerala, you find that the Kerala is entirely different from the rest of India. But still, we have many places to improve, like the women staying out inside the houses. They are not much visible in the protests and all. So, what's the message you have to give to the women of Kerala?
You see, the thing that makes Kerala different is that in many countries we had social reform movement against caste, against patriarchy, against all these things. It was very strong in Kerala also, but it was strong in other parts of the world. But one positive feature in Kerala is that because of the strength of the left and the presence of the left in governments one after the other, so at least many of the ideals of the social reform movement, they remain alive for the people in Kerala. That movement has been taken forward. But patriarchy is still very strong, and as we say, that will always be the most difficult battle because it's in the home as well as in the public sphere. And certainly in Kerala, we find today that basic patriarchal values are being challenged. And they're being challenged by women, not only from the left, but women who are working in cinema, women who are writers, women who are working in social movements, and they are carrying forward the glorious tradition actually of women who used to work with women workers, like Sushila Gopalan, like Gauri Amma.
Yeah.
That tradition is being carried forward, and in different aspects are being attached to. That's very important. But still, I think we have a long way to go in Kerala. And I would say that now, for example, the movement against the NPR, of course, we are seeing the participation of huge numbers of women from the minority community.
Especially students.
Especially students, but also women
Women, yeah.
are being brought into the movement. But I always ask this question that when the movement is on, then everybody feels the need for women to participate in it. But when the movement is over, then people say, okay, now your work is done, go back to your house. So that should not happen. I think that the awareness that women are getting in this movement, they should continue to be able to go forward with that
To be part of the society in all aspects of life.
Now in places like UP and Bihar, which are much more backward than Delhi, lakhs and lakhs of Muslim women are coming and sitting on dharna. And they are also displaying agency in the sense, in Kanpur, for example, the dharna was withdrawn after the intervention of the administration and some talks.
Yeah.
But the women said, no, we don't need you men. You go, we are going to continue
we are going to stay.
In Lucknow also, women started the protest there in the Ghantaghar, old city area. And 2 nights ago, the police came and actually they removed the men from there. They took away the women's blankets, they took away their food.
Food, yeah.
But they refused to go. And they didn't feel any fear of the police. So this is a new feature. And also, it is creating solidarity among other sections of women also. Other sections of women also feeling that they are doing a wonderful thing and they want to go in their support. So this must be encouraged
to come
more and more. Yes.
And in Kerala, again I'm coming to Kerala, the left is very strong. Even the rightist groups and the central centrist groups are also showing more advanced features of liberalism other than in North.
That is it. That is not because of choice. That is compulsion.
Compulsion.
You have to fight the left. Just like when the Soviet Union was a big boss, all the capitalist countries also had to ensure a lot of welfare measures for the working class, for the unemployed, for women, and trade unions were able to win many battles. And there was unemployment relief also, and all that they had to do to show that they also care for people.
Yeah.
But the moment that the Soviet Union collapsed and socialism became weaker, all those concessions have been withdrawn.
Withdrawn and
All have been withdrawn. Now you find trade unions are being smashed. The welfare system is being completely hollowed out. Even in England, the health system that they had, that also is being actually
It's
privatized.
returned now.
So, whenever the capitalists or the parties of the capitalists have to contest with the communists, then they have to adopt many welfare measures, they have to adopt many policies that they may not actually believe in. Just like in Kerala, it's very difficult for, say, the Congress party to defend privatization of education and health, which they are doing in other states. BJP also is not able to really speak against those things. They take up only religious issues. Because if they speak against these things which have become part of people's lives here, then their attraction for people will vanish.
Means, you mean to say that the rightist and the fascist groups and the centrist groups in Kerala are even left influenced people?
They are not left influenced, but they have to fight the left.
That's so.
So to fight the left, they cannot oppose any of the welfare schemes that they see in Kerala. Today, if you have a BPL card, for example, or if you're a poor person, you can get even cancer treatment free. You have seen this.
Yes.
You have very, very good government schools.
Yeah.
Now, no party can actually speak in Kerala that we want to close the government schools.
They can't.
Nobody can dare to say that. Even the private colleges, even minority institutions, have been regulated by the government. That means they cannot charge the kind of fees that such institutions are charging elsewhere in India. And these parties, they cannot oppose this because basically people are benefiting from these schemes. So that is why the left is very important in the whole of India, even to make these rightist parties actually adopt certain
measures.
people attitudes at least.
Right. Okay. Now, in all India, all the protests are influenced by the left. How far you think that you are winning the masses?
You see, I don't think that we can claim that we are influencing everybody. It is true that it was our party, the CPIM, that took the most clear position inside Parliament and outside Parliament. But our strength has gone down in Parliament. And all other parties, they took a very ambiguous and ambivalent stance. On 370, actually, they betrayed the people of Kashmir. And on this issue, they were saying one thing in Parliament, the leaders were saying something else, and that is continuing. Even if you see the Congress party, they are also continuing with this ambivalent attitude. And that's why the stand taken by the Chief Minister of Kerala, Comrade Pinarayi Vijayan, that has actually given a huge boost to the whole movement, and also it has given a boost to the image of the left all over India because he showed that he is practicing what he preaches. He said, he was the first person to say, this will not happen in Kerala, we will not allow it. Then he went for the assembly resolution also. Only after that, the Chief Minister of Punjab also passed that resolution and said the same thing. Now, Chief Ministers of Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, they are also being pushed
To
to
the
adopt that, but they have not done it yet.
But in the beginning itself, when anti-CAA protests are surfaced, Mamata Banerjee has come up with the same anti-CAA
No,
attitude.
she has been making statements, but she has not yet passed any resolution in her. It was demanded in the assembly.
Why do you think that she is not ready to pass it?
Well, I don't know. Don't want to speak too much about her, but she has always been ambivalent in her relationship with the BJP. She has been in a government with them. She praised RSS, and on many issues, because there are cases against her, the BJP uses these cases, like that Sarda scam and other things, against political leaders. We have seen it with parties in Uttar Pradesh. So maybe that is the reason I can't say, but anyway, she does try to take up different positions on the same issue at different times.
Actually, in when Congress came up with anti-CAA protests and all, many leaders are found to be in a dancing position. That they don't want to stress on what they want to say, and always they go back and say something else.
You see, the problem is that most of these parties, they are worried about their votes. process actually they lose on all sides because neither they take a firm position against something nor they take a firm position in favor of something.
In favor.
So this never will help. And in any case, even earlier on, when we were in a very tense situation in Kerala, our chief minister said, yes, we may lose weight, foods, but we cannot give up our principles. So I think more parties have to come forward and say this.
And again, coming back to Kerala, you are now in a nostalgic travel. Whenever you come to Kerala, now after some time we are traveling to your home place, I mean your mother's home place in Anakara.
It's my home place also.
Yeah, of course.
But I also am Anakara Madakar.
അപ്പൊ ആനക്കര വടക്കത്തേക്ക് ഇപ്പോ നമ്മൾ പോവാണ്. അപ്പൊ പോകുമ്പോൾ what is in your mind that how Kerala has changed and
you see, I would like to say there a lot of changes. But in my family, it was a very Congress family, no doubt about it. But at the same time, they were very progressive in their outlook about many things. One was about caste. In fact, Nawaz Sarwar was one of the first to stop untouchability. And that is why the people who used to be working there, now they're all teachers and and quite well off. But they continue to have that attachment to that house and they also look after my invalid aunt like a member of their family, not because they need the money, but because they feel that something in this family was a little bit different from other people. Because we know how casteist such landlord families used to be. So it has been progressive. And then my grandmother especially and her mother, they were great believers and practitioners of women's rights. They didn't bother about anybody. In fact, when my grandfather, anyway, he had some relationship with my grandmother's parents. So he came to visit my great grandmother after my great grandfather had died. And he was a Brahmin actually, he was a butter.
yeah, right, yeah.
But he said that he was well settled and he wanted to marry a girl from this family. So my grandmother was very young. My great grandmother said she's only a child. But he liked her because she was very lively. So he asked her that, will you marry me? So her answer is very interesting. She said, I don't mind, but I have certain conditions. The first condition is that I want to live in a city. I don't want to live in a village. I want to live in a place like Madras. That's it. Secondly, I want to have a proper education. And I want to be taught English also by an English person. And the third thing is that my mother never asks my brothers, where are you going? When will you come back? I don't want anybody to ask me, where are you going and when will you come back? And my grandfather, he accepted all these conditions, but he also abided by them. And she had all the freedom to join the national movement, to go to jail, to then become a corporator, MLA, and member of the Constituent Assembly, Lok Sabha member, Rajya Sabha member. That is because of her own strength, but also because of the fact that she married someone who had very democratic feelings. So, in that sense, I can't say that I see change in my home. In fact, I find that some family members are more conservative than the earlier members. That's a pity. But other than that, there are a lot of things in Kerala, some good things, that is, there's much more education, land reform happened. Of course, my family may have lost their land, but the people have benefited. And the educational revolution that you see in Kerala is directly linked to the land reform. Without that, it would not have been possible.
Okay. Now, when we talk about the land reforms, actually, land reform came up in India or part of India. The first time came in Kashmir, not in Kerala.
I know.
So,
and why was that? It was because of 370. Because they had their own constitution. They were not governed by the provisions of the Constitution of India. So that clause which says that you have to give compensation to the landlords, that clause was not there. So they could disappropriate the landlords. They could take the land from the landlords without giving compensation and distribute it among the landlords. That is what we don't know in the rest of India.
That was a mistake actually. They had to compensate.
No, they didn't compensate.
They didn't compensate.
Why should they compensate people who have just occupied poor people's land and benefited from it. They've had enough benefit.
So,
My family is not starving because the land was taken away. Everybody is quite all right.
because
But those
nowadays,
people who are starving have got the land.
nowadays there are some friends among us saying that many pandits, those who had a lot of land, 100 acres of orchard of apple and all, they lost all that because of this reform.
Anyway, I don't want to get into that. People should not have 100 acres of land in India. That's all I can say.
Okay, that's fine. Okay. And what's the message to the people, to the women
But
especially?
having said that, what happened to the Pandits when they were actually, because of fundamentalism, when they had to leave, that was horrible. That was a shame, that was a tragedy. And they have been suffering that tragedy. But it is not because of land reform. Some of them may have left for jobs and all that earlier. But what happened when they were forced to leave, that is something that can never be forgotten.
That is about Kashmir and the real thing. About the message to the new generation, young generation of women who are in and around this Andolan, about this protest and all.
You see, this protest is, first of all, I would like to say it is not about Muslims. It is about protecting the very soul and spirit of the Constitution of India. When India was partitioned at that time into two, one part, which became Pakistan, believed in citizenship on the basis of religion. And the people who stayed in India, they rejected that principle. And the people of India also rejected that principle when they adopted the Constitution of India. The Constitution of India does not link citizenship with religion in any page of the Constitution. And actually, this amended CAA is definitely against the secular spirit of the Constitution of India. And it's a very dangerous step. If we allow this to happen, then many, many more things will happen which will change not only the Constitution, weaken the Constitution, but will change the nature of India itself and whether the unity of India can be preserved through the India. People should understand Pakistan had a population, vast majority were Muslims. But still, it could not preserve its unity. It broke into two. So we should take a lesson from that, that it is only a secular, inclusive, democratic and socialistic spirit that can keep countries together. By dividing in the name of religion, ultimately you divide not only society, but you may divide the country also.
Okay. Thank you very much for coming and appearing for a small interview.
Thank you.